Hello, Conscious Mothers. I'm so inspired by your posts, your comments on my post about courage and the courageous action that you're taking that I want to come and give you more. So I always say this on when I give live trainings and talks that those of you who participate and those of you who show up, there will be a difference for you than there is for those of you who just watch passively. And this is true for all of life. So I'm bringing these lessons to this, but the frame is different, but the lesson is the same. Courage is hi Lori. Courage is, as I wrote yesterday and invited you to think about. Courage is the thing that we need in order to change what's showing up in our life. And I want to talk a little bit more about it, but at first just want to really, really celebrate you. Do you see my frame of hearts? I've surrounded myself in the frame of love today because this is what courage gives us. It gives us a frame of love that comes from the heart, not from the head. Overthinking and analyzing to make decisions will stop us from living from the heart. It will get in our way and it will keep us from ever enacting our courageous self, our best self, aligning with that highest version of us, our higher identity. So I saw some amazing comments of things big and small, transformational, some of them that you have done to take courageous action in your life recently. And I'm celebrating you and I'm acknowledging you for showing up, for taking the action of sharing it in the community, because you will be blessed from that action. You will be blessed taking that action to say, I am participating in my life, in the changes that I want, will bring blessings to you. So giving and receiving is a part of the same coins, two sides of the same coin, okay? And the lesson today is that there's something that keeps all of us from moving forward into that change that we're wanting. And when I say the change we're wanting, I could use a million different examples, but I'll keep it to what comes up most in this community and for moms, which is usually really feel stuck in my marriage, disconnected, isolated, and lonely. That comes up all the time when I talk to women. I feel like we're speaking a different language. We feel like roommates. We're two ships passing in the night. I don't even know if I want to connect anymore, but I want my family intact. Like people usually say, like, I would love if we could have a better relationship. I mean, that's what I meant to have, and that's what we agreed to, but now we can't find each other. So, and this happens, there's a readjustment and a recalibration. We have to change the relationship after we have kids, of course, obviously, right? It can't be what it was before. But in order to make something new, we have to be willing to take actions that are aligned with what we want. And to do that takes courage, because most people are doing the old thing. We're going to keep doing what we've always done. And another example you might look at is, which I hear about a lot, is career path, life purpose. So many of us know there's a bigger purpose on our hearts, but we feel really stuck in knowing how to access that, how to take action in alignment with that, how to have that. And so we stay focusing on what's stuck, what's not working. We stay analyzing, we try to figure it out, we try to crack it open, we try to change it from the inside of the problem. And you know that doesn't work. We all know that doesn't work. Insanity, what's the sort of hilarious definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The missing piece here is it's a few things, but the piece that matters the most, that most people don't catch, that they miss, is courage. And when you look at times in your life, and I invite you to do it, think about times in your life when something big changed for you. Why did that happen? Really be honest with yourself about how that happened. And what you'll see is it was not that some thing from outside of you changed your how you feel on the inside. It was not a conditional change. It wasn't an environmental shift. It wasn't that another person in your life healed and so suddenly everything was fixed for you. It doesn't work that way. A lot of us wish secretly in the privacy of our homes that our partners, or out loud on Facebook groups, that our partners would just do something about their mental health. Dear God, will you just fix yourself? And then I would be better, right? We could go on and on about that. But what will come of that? Exhaustion, wheels spinning, frustration, anger, resentment, all that comes from wanting some condition to change or some other person outside of us to change is our own frustration. We're beating our heads against the wall. And nowhere in that scenario is us stepping into our courage, right? We're just wishing they would. I just wish he would get more courageous, or she would. I just wish that they would deal with that thing, right? I wish my boss would just be more understanding or empathic or whatever. Nowhere in that are we focusing on ourselves and what we can do to change the circumstance and situation, okay? So it takes so where does courage come from? Where does courage come from? Where do you guys think? Where does courage come from? It has to come from our heart. And where are most of you, if you're really honest with yourselves, to just ask, where am I making decisions from? Is it from a logical place of thinking things through and weighing them out and pen to paper and pros and cons? Or have you really dropped in? Have you dropped into presence and tapped into the heart space to say, what does my heart know is true? And the question I have for you today is, if you were not scared, what would you do? If you weren't afraid, what choice would you make? And the reason why I ask you that is because fear is where we're investing most of our attention. And it is the one thing that will get in the way of us making a courageous decision that is from the heart, that will change everything in our lives for the better. Everything, all circumstances, all situations, all relationships, all of it. When we live from the heart and make a courageous decision, meaning we choose what the heart wants, whether it makes logical sense to us or not, often that is the thing that we're afraid to do. And when you look back on your life, at times in your life when you have been able to overcome, the definition of the sort of the root of the word victory is to overcome. And when you think of times in your life when you've overcome some big challenge, what was that magic that got you there? Was it someone else rescuing you? No, it never is. It never is that. That might happen. Maybe at times we've all been rescued, and thank God for those blessings, right? We all sometimes need a rescue. We need a hand. But something in us enabled that. Something in us opened to receive it. Something in us said yes and thank you. And something in us had prayed for it and called it in. Something in us aligned with our hearts enough to attract that resource, that person, that money, whatever the thing is that you're wanting, that you're needing, that transformation, that thing that your partner opened up to that he had never been open to before. So yeah, great question. Hi, Marty. And hi, Candace. I'm so glad y'all are here. So how do you get rid of the fear taking over your heart, she says. Well, most of us are so practiced at living with that clamp of fear on our hearts, right? We have based all of our decisions from that place. And so I want you to really hear this. There's nothing other than practice, lifetime of practicing making decisions from fear, that has made you feel like that's just the way it is, or like that's all you can do. Okay, do you know what I mean? So when we look at what's comfortable and what's uncomfortable, what we'll notice is, well, what's most comfortable to me is what's most familiar to me. Despite the fact that something's not working, that I'm screaming at my kids, or that my marriage is in the toilet, despite all that, I cannot make a choice to change it or get the help I need because, just using this as a random example, but because it's so uncomfortable to leave my comfort zone. And if we slow down enough to notice what's happening in the body, we'll notice we're constricted, when we choose that. We're constricted. We're choosing from fear. We are afraid that something won't help us or won't work for us, or that we'll be dumb, that we'll make a bad decision, or that we won't be supported in that, or that we'll be criticized for it, or whatever our stories are. That's a part of the fear story. We're going to feel that, right? We're going to feel that big time. Whenever we get to the edge of our comfort zone, we're pushing out. We're pushing the edge of what we're familiar with. When we're on the outside of that edge and we start to approach unfamiliarity, even though our heart's guiding us there, even though 10 things synchronize to line us up with this moment of knowing that we have a choice and we've summoned courage, we're still going to feel uncomfortable. It's never going to feel easy. Making a decision to change your life never does feel easy. It doesn't. It's a risk. And you'll feel that because, and only because, you haven't been there before. It's new. And when something is new and you're sensing it's big, you're going to get a fear response. Because what you're doing at the edge of your comfort zone is you're bumping up against that fear that always has kept you hemmed in. You know, it's like a membrane around you. We're inside of the membrane. We're doing life as we've always done. We're making decisions based on the way we've always done. And nothing ever changes. We get more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And that is how it works. When we change our thinking and feeling, when we change and we start living from the heart and we align our thoughts and we move that crappy fear out of the way, so that's what's on the outside of the membrane. When we move through that membrane into creating the new, that is when what shows up in life is new and different too. That's when the relationship gets better. It's when our kids start being more loving and more calm. It's when we feel at home in our bodies. It's when we know that we're whole and we make decisions from a place of worthiness and wholeness, and we never again settle. We don't settle for the lies and BS that fear tells us when we're living from that space of knowing the truth of who we are and that we are worthy of respect, of love, of enough of everything we need. You got to get there first, and then you can get to more than enough. But first we go for enough. Okay, so where is this good life that you're wanting? Where does it exist? How is it possible to be in it? You've made one courageous decision. Everyone who hasn't commented, comment on that thread. I want you to prove to yourself that you can make courageous decisions, because here's what I felt when I read that. Oh my God. These are life-changing decisions. And I thought back in my own life. I thought about two things. I thought about the present first, and I thought, I'm making some really courageous, bold decisions right now. I am making decisions I've never made before to help more women, to be more of service, to live more on purpose, to heal my family. I'm going bigger than I've ever gone before. This whole coronavirus situation has just highlighted every single thing that I was kind of and complacent about, and I'm just going for it. This is a time to go for it, and it's catalyzing the movement of that energy in like the wind is at our backs right now. The wind is at our backs. For those of us who will step into courage and say yes to what we want and stop being complacent about the things that aren't working, the support is here for us. For others who will shrink to fear, who will say, I just don't know how, who will say, I'm scared it won't work, who will say, sure, I've made courageous decisions before and life moved for me, but it's not going to move twice. It's not going to do it again. I just can't. It's too hard. Okay, listen to those voices. All of that is past story, fear BS that is going, just sit down, just stay in your place. Just don't get too excited. Right? The voices of our parents, the voices of our caregivers, our grandparents, our older siblings, like easy. Don't get too excited. You know, I have those voices in me too. Like, don't dream too big. I don't want you to get disappointed. Or whatever. Like, we all heard that from some sources in our upbringing. And you know what? That came from someone else's fear. That is not the trajectory for your life. And it doesn't have to be true for you just because it was true for someone else. So where does your beautiful life exist that you're wanting, or your healed relationship, or that fun lightness in motherhood that you want, that feeling amazing about yourself as a parent, that guilt-free experience of being healthy and taking care of you because you've loved so deeply on your kids and they feel so whole and complete. They are not missing anything. And it is totally justified for you to take care of you. Where does that life exist? You guys, it does not exist inside your comfort zone and your familiarity. And it doesn't exist inside of everything that you've been doing in the past up till now. Things have to change. And the only way that we can access it is to say, yes, I'm willing to become a little uncomfortable and make bolder decisions. And when I say make bolder decisions, I mean ones from the heart, aligned with courage, aligned with the love that you want, aligned with the respect and appreciation that you want, the joyful presence that you want. When you make decisions from your past or from fear, you're going to just go right by it. You're going to stay inside of that shell and nothing will change. It's not that nothing will change. You'll keep creating, but you'll keep creating conflict. You'll keep creating overwhelm. You'll keep creating overextending yourself. You'll keep creating exhaustion. That's just what we do. And I do it too. And to give a personal example, recently I was noticing, God, I'm creating. Things slowed down. Coronavirus happened. Things slowed down. I started reflecting more. I started meditating way deeper and way longer and accessing more of my truth. And what I saw was, gosh, there are areas of my life, in particular how I show up to serve, that are not aligned with the vision, the dream that I have. So I'm here with you today as a result of aligning with that. I want to share more. I want to help you to elevate more. I want to help 100 women right now to say yes to themselves and elevate through that discomfort, past the fear, and just annihilate those fears. And we have to work with somebody who knows how to do that in order to truly succeed at annihilating the fears and then living on the other side of those where we create abundant love and joy. And you guys, I get asked all the time, but if I change and he doesn't change, then how can things ever get better for my relationship? And we don't need to answer that. You don't need to know the answer to that. The only piece that's so important for you is, do you care enough about feeling better for you that you're willing to take new care of you? That's it. Like, are you sick enough of feeling sick of how things have been? Are you tired enough of being in pain that you will do this for you, that you will change, you make a courageous decision for you in your life because you love you enough? Just leave the partner out of it for a minute. Leave the kiddo who has explosive behaviors out of it for a minute. I know there's a resistance to doing that for many, many reasons that we can justify analytically. But I'm telling you, that's all bunk. The only thing that is important is that we care deeply enough about the way it feels to be in our bodies every day that we will tap into courage and say yes to making decisions on the other side of our comfort zone. Because what is old and familiar it's not right or wrong. What is old and familiar is going to yield the same old familiar results. Do you get that? You guys with me? I'm preaching today, but I'm so inspired by the actions that you took on commenting on that thread, and I want to hear more. If you haven't commented yet and you hear this talk, then really go back to that post or below here and just write. Maybe you're going to share a courageous action that you've taken in the past. Are you going to take ownership of that? And then maybe you're going to share a courageous action that you want to take next. That what have you not achieved yet that you really want to achieve? What area of your life or relationships is yet to be solved, is yet to be resolved? What conflict is yet to be resolved? What area of your health have you yet to overcome the barriers in and access freedom? Because freedom is what's on the other side of every pain that we have, every struggle that we have. When we break through that, there's freedom. And freedom is so good. Freedom is delicious. It means I have choice over what I feel any moment of the day. all day long. I have choice over what I think all day long. All day long. And my clients, some of you are here, can tell you that they know what this feels like. They know how it feels to have ownership of your thoughts, of your feelings, and to make decisions from that place of what is best for you, because you know that's what's going to be best for your family. Inherently, you can trust that taking care of you is what will heal your family. I have 100% certainty about that. If you're not sure what that means, drop questions below. Ask me, tell me what stirs for you in this talk and let me know. And if you're someone who you're feeling really stirred by this and you're thinking, oh my God, yes, that is it. I want that, but I don't know how. Then that's a time to reach out. So let's have a conversation about it, or PM me and shoot me a little something about what's going on with you. And I will circle back and I will help you to see what's possible for you. And I'll also be very honest with you. I'll never blow smoke up your butt. I will never tell you this will work for you if it won't work for you. What I do with women is very specific, and it works for a certain kind of person in a certain point of readiness, willingness, and resourcefulness. And if that is you, then I'll be very honest with you about, I will never say to you, I'm certain I can help you if I can't. And I will be very honest with you about if it's not a match. And I will also love on you and give you tons of value and share with you what would be a great next step for you, okay, based on what I know. Okay, I love you guys. Okay, hi Candace, awesome. Thank you for leaving this comment. Exactly. And Christy, hi Christy. Yes, amen. I'm ready. I'm tired on an angry walk. Yeah, and recognizing that the tears that I used to make more through tears, I used to make more courageous choices. And where did it go? Yeah, I just feel chills when you say that. It's so true, you guys. I think I know where it goes for a lot of women. I really do think that it goes to the role of caregiver, of provider, of supporter. We just put ourselves right on the back burner. When we love on people so much and we want so much for them to be okay, that we completely forget ourselves. We just put ourselves in the back of the pack. And what happens as a result of that is that everybody struggles. Everybody's unhappy and everybody struggles, right? So we're loving on them when we love on us. I had someone say to me recently, I was in a conversation with a mom who thought maybe she was ready for her transformation. And the wall that she bumped up against was, I just have this idea, this belief that if I take time or energy to invest in me, that it's really going to take away from them. And so I'm really scared of that. And what we found was that that idea and that belief had been passed down for her. It had been passed down through generations, and it does. And so it's embedded in our energy, it's embedded in our field and in our thoughts and beliefs. And if we let that stop us, we will continue to get the same results as we've always gotten. And I just want to share that with you so wholeheartedly, to say I love you so much, and that change is so much more possible than most of us realize. And that when we love ourselves enough to say yes to our heart's desires, and we're willing to take on the risk and the discomfort of leaving that past behind, we get to create the future. But we don't get the gift of the future unless we say, yes, I'm willing to stop creating the same thing that I've always been creating. Does that make sense? I'm so glad to see so many of you that I know and love on this call too. You're popping on. I'd like to learn how to release the anger that I absorbed growing up from my type A angry father. It's it's such a common thing that we carry the imprints of anger with us from our parents or before that, from our grandparents. And Andrea, just seeing your comment. And that anger will imprint in us, and it will become a part of what we think of as our identity or our personality or even our temperament. And that's because it's only that way. It's only true because we've practiced it so much. This is the same message I was saying earlier. It's like when we're angry, when we're quick to anger, when we're irritated, when we are frustrated a lot, when we're impatient with our kids, when we scream and shout, when we shut down to our partners, and we think like, we know we're stuck in it, but we can't stop, and we know it's not working for us, but we can't stop ourselves from doing that. It's because the underlying patterning or programming is set to anger. And so in order to change that, we have to expand. We have to do a couple things. We have to learn how to expand our awareness to a degree while building that sense of calm and healing our nervous system. Those two things in tandem allow us to uncover what the programming and the patterning is. And then we have to release that programming and patterning, which takes steps in a formula. You're going to need support for that piece, and nobody can do it alone. When we release that anger and change the old patterns and the programming, and we remove those obstacles, while we do that, we're also creating the new. So we're creating in your body how it feels to have ownership, how it feels to be at rest, how it feels to know that really you're safe and really you're okay. And that takes practice. It takes practice, it takes the right tools, it takes the right formulas. And when you then put all that together with repetition, you build the muscle. And then you're off and running, and you've got it. And it doesn't take forever. It doesn't take years in therapy, you guys. It doesn't take reading a million books. It takes enough of a commitment and readiness and the right tools that you believe are a match for you to achieve the results that you want. And then it does feel like miracles are happening, because they are, because any shift in perception is a miracle. And then the results in your life change. That is when your relationship becomes more fulfilling. It's when you feel fulfilled no matter what is going on circumstantially in your life. Okay? All right. I think I'm done preaching. Really hoping that gave you what you needed today. Please do reach out to me. Don't hesitate. I will be honest with you about what I think and tell you if I can help you or not. And it isn't for everyone. I already said that, but one more time, like, it isn't for everyone, but don't let fear stop you from connecting with me. Don't let fear get in the way, because then you just know what you're going to get. You're going to get more of the same. So rather open up and receive what's here for you, receive the support, and take advantage of that. And remember that the only way to change what's showing up in your life now is to be willing to move through the edge of your comfort zone. So it is a good thing when you feel pressure. It is a good thing you're on track when you're making those decisions from the heart. Okay, I love you so much. I want to hear your courageous acts below, or the next ones coming up that you want. Or I want to hear whatever stuck with you from this talk and what really hit you in the heart. Share that with me, and create the momentum for yourself. Okay, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye, everybody.